I I don't know that we would call it like a special trick. But okay. Can you guys hear that? I wouldn't call it a
I
special
can
trick.
hear it.
Maggie thinks that I am tooting, farting, whatever you want to call it, passing gas, flatulence, festives. I don't know. But I'm just literally sitting in a chair in a hotel room. And as we were warming up, she goes, "Are you farting?" I was like, "No." And she's like, "Your chair sounds just like, is it
It sounds just like you're ripping it. And you know what
really?"
else? What a perfect disguise for if you are ripping it. Oh, it's just, oh, look, my chair sounds just like a fart. So now you have free reign. You can fart throughout this podcast and no one will know. They're like, you've set it up that it's the chair.
But
Like
the thing
that's
is, if
clearly
you're
the chair.
watching the footage of this, I'm having to like move around to make it work.
Yeah, but then you just when you have to fart, I just have to move the chair, and then it's like an incredible guise.
Can we cut all of this? This is not becoming.
It's not. I mean, it's just the chair. It's totally fine. It's not becoming.
I don't know what to do. Should we clap?
Yeah, we should clap.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, we didn't clap together.
It clapped for me. There's a delay when we do it virtually.
Oh, okay. That's going to be a
Yeah,
problem
you know,
coming up
it's,
soon.
it's gonna be different, but we'll see. We'll see how this works. I think we should do our little intro.
Yeah, and I don't actually think I know that the name of this episode because I raced in again. I'm in a hotel. It's kind of weird that we're ending it this way too, because I think our
It's
second
dog
episode,
fight.
dog fight, rough,
Dog
rough.
fight.
Okay, then let's do our intro.
All right. Hello and welcome to Only Suits fans. I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda, and we're sisters in law.
In law.
There it is. We're interrupting our recaps of the original Suits to cover this incredible gift that is Suits LA.
Today we are recapping season 1, episode 13, Dogfight, which we just watched. And it's not only the season finale, it's the series finale.
Yeah, this is tough. I was gonna say that maybe we should sing "End of the Road" by Boyz II Men, but since there's a delay, I really think it'd be hard to lay it in thick that way.
You should just sing it. You're the one who knows it. You're the singer.
Oh yeah, I'm the singer. I'm not the singer. But we're going to have to figure this out when you move, how we're going to be able to keep up the musical component of this podcast. Because I think it's
for sure.
A big part
there
of
might
it.
be, I might have a setting that's not set up right, or my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi. You know, like we might just have something that's like
I'm
more
sorry.
delayed.
Are we going to blame the DoubleTree Wi-Fi? We might actually blame the DoubleTree Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's the DoubleTree, but it's not the Double-Fi. You know what I mean?
Fair. It's fair.
It's 2 bars.
It's 2 bars. 2 bars and a warm cookie. That's all I got here. But I do have I have popcorn for this like final one. So,
Oh, did you bring that?
No, this is given to me by a popcorn person.
How nice.
Mm-hmm.
How perfect. It's like they knew.
I was at an event and I was leaving. They're like, "Here's some popcorn." I was like, "Great." And I'm not going to stay. I'm going to go back to my hotel room and watch Hulu.
I'm going to eat this popcorn while watching the season finale.
All right. Now I got some kernels right up in here. Let me give you this like little kernel of fun here with my brief.
Oh, I see what you did.
It's true that all good things must come to an end. And Suits LA ended up being better than good. It was great. And if you're going to do a one and done of a series, then this was the way to do it. Bring back all the brunettes and confuse us one last time. Show us what really happened with Ted's dad and his brother Eddie. Leave us hanging with a hot hookup from the Ricks and a potentially messy love triangle with Ted. Get justice for the beloved secretary who hasn't really been that consistent. Seriously, other law procedural TV writers should take note. If you don't know your fate, then it's never too late to do the right thing and write it all into the finale in one fell swoop. Yes, it's hard to watch the sunset on this motley crew from sunny LA, and we are so grateful. We got 13 sweet weeks of more of our beloved franchise.
Incredible tribute, Amanda.
Thank you. I feel like
Incredible
that actually could have
tribute.
been the closing, I don't know.
That could have. I mean, that was like a eulogy, but also an incredible brief of everything that we've gone through. I'm glad they did bring all the brunettes back
Oh
because
my God. It was, so I ran back to the hotel and was a few minutes late. You said you were also late because of some tornado notices.
yes, which could
They're
also
not
be
shi
affecting the Wi-Fi situation.
They just I'm gonna tell you right now, we actually are under some kind of tornado situation here in Abilene. Nobody really cares. They made us walk a half a mile downtown to some event. They're like, it's a tornado warning, but like everything's gonna be fine. So I was a little late getting back to the room. So you can't on Hulu, like you can only rewind a certain amount. You can't start from the beginning.
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
I'm going to rely on you to fill me in on the first 6.5 minutes because right when I tuned in, there's a bunch of brunettes coming in hot. And I was like, no, they didn't on this last episode. That's the last thing we need is another brunette. You know what I'm saying?
All of them were there. Okay, so the very, 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 very beginning I
Mhm.
missed because the weatherman was like, "We're gonna get you to Suits, but first, here's a tornado that's
Mm.
touching down
Did
close
it?
to you."
Did one
So,
touchdown? Did one touchdown?
yeah, on like 20, I think, I-20 west of Fort Worth, which is why I was like,
Headed towards
"Are
me.
you are you okay?" I think it was
Yeah.
like I think it was east of you, west of Fort Worth.
I'm wondering if I should turn my phone off of DND in case something comes through.
I think tornado warnings come through even if you're in do not disturb,
Yeah, they did because
right?
yeah, I was in that conference today and they came through and all of us were like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, it says
Yeah, yeah,
tornado
yeah.
watch here. So I got 19 more minutes till I'm out of our tornado watch. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
good.
So anyways,
Yeah.
I was a little late because we were hearing about this weather situation.
Mhm. Okay,
But
so
I
what did you get?
did tune in and Ted was talking to Erica. This is the first scene of the show, I'm pretty sure. And he's talking to Erica because he needs her to go up against Rick and Dylan to protect Sean Baker, who's the director of this film that
Right.
Dylan's going to be doing with Rick. And um then he talks about how like he just cares that they have to have their clients behind, like they have to have their backside,
Okay.
and like they have to care about their behind. And so Erica's like, okay, you're talking a lot about their behind. Should I tell Marvin from HR like that we should file a complaint? And he goes, no, ha ha ha. He can't regulate what's in here.
Mhm.
He can't regulate what I'm thinking. And I was like, I don't know. Can HR, if you're talking about your clients' behinds in a way like that, can HR tell you to stop it?
Yeah, we absolutely can. Yes. We can
Yeah.
say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you what to say. I'm just here to tell you not to say that." Which is literally the way that I led so many conversations. I'm like, "I can't tell you that you can't say this to the client. But what I can tell you is you can't say this to the client. Or you can't say that to that person anymore." So,
Yeah. That's not a
mhm.
good thing. I mean, HR
Mm.
is really like the lawyers of the lawyers here. They're policing
That's all
Marvin
they
from
are.
HR is like
It's
keeping all the records.
police and therapists.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, next
And
scene before the credits.
kinda like a priest too, because you
Yeah,
gotta
very because
can't
you're
say
blessing
anything.
people,
I was thinking more of the
blessing them.
confessional situation. But we
Oh
were
no,
never
you're not.
blessing
You don't
anybody.
ever bless people.
No, we
Hmm.
don't bless them. We just let them confess. Bless and confess.
Hmm. I
There goes
had talked
those.
to my former HR director. I was
Yeah.
getting a lot of blessings,
Okay.
a lot of holy water.
Okay. And
Okay,
we're
so
back on
then the
track.
next scene. What? Yeah,
We're
back on
back on
track.
track. Yeah.
Back there. Okay, Dylan is in the next scene and she is with Rick and she's like, I want to find out if the feelings between you and me are real. And
Mhm.
Rick's like, I mean, this can happen sometimes, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's real. And he's like, I'm holding firm. I want to be a really good lawyer for you. I do not want to do a relationship with you.
Okay.
Then we see, speaking of messy relationships, Samantha calls Ted to talk about this guy, Avery,
Right.
who is a producer who's basically a really, really bad guy. And he's been blackballing her client, Jim. Or wait, what is it? Blackballing? No, that's what I typed. But Like when
Well,
you
not
kick
blackmailing.
someone out. No, like it's like they can't get any
Blackballed. You got
jobs.
blackballed. Yeah.
It is blackballing?
Mhm.
Not blue balling, it's blackballing. It's so bad. It's like,
Blue balling would be a different kind of lawsuit and a different conversation
yeah.
with HR. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, mhm. Okay, great. So she is going to file a defamation suit, and she wants
Okay.
Ted's help to make it a class action suit because this Avery guy is like such a big deal that they're going to need a lot of people to come forward. But
Okay.
everyone clearly would come, like, he's such a jerk. But Ted's like, this is not good. I don't want to do that because he is like, he will blackball everyone. But she needs his help because Avery's the closest thing Hollywood has to a mob boss. And Ted's the only guy she knows who's ever taken on a mob boss and won.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Then we hear our favorite songs. A greenback
Greenback
boogie.
boogie. Did that work? Did we get that
That was
together?
delayed for me, but it probably sounded good for you.
Can't wait to hear what the listeners think.
Yeah, we can't wait. It'll all sync up. I think
Okay.
Riverside like syncs it up for you. It
Okay.
syncs it up.
This is about where I came in looking at what the flashback is, right? So if we like
Okay,
start with the
yeah.
flashback, I started with Ted's dad, who is meeting Ted at his apartment for his last night of freedom before he has to go to prison, which is such a weird thing to be like, hey, it's my last night of freedom before I'm locked away. And then his dad asked for it to just be the two of them because they were going to all go to eat, but then it's just going to be Ted and his dad. And he's like, I'll take Eddie to like breakfast tomorrow. Eddie overhears it, says it's fine, and then his dad like gives Eddie a hug, which seems a little weird, but his dad is just a little bit weird. So
Mhm.
this is exactly the scene that I actually picked up on.
Oh, good. I mean,
Yeah.
what a scene, a flashback to come into it.
Hmm.
So then Ted and his dad have dinner and they're at this nice restaurant and his dad just really wants to make things right. And they have some kind of charming banter back and forth. Like, we've already talked about how good the steak is. And Ted's
Hmm.
like, well, we still have to talk about the menu. Like they clearly are related, right?
Right.
And Ted says his dad, if he wants to make it up, needs to call Eddie once a week and ask him
Mhm.
about his day. And his dad's like, can I call you? And he goes, no, you need to call Eddie. And if you do that, then maybe we can talk when you get out. And it seems like there is hope in this moment.
Yeah. Well, there's like a stipulation here, but I mean, I think it's a fair stipulation. Yeah.
Mhm.
You need to take care of Eddie first. Like, don't worry about
Yes.
me. Take care of Eddie because it's clear that his dad has a gives preferential treatment to Ted and not Eddie.
Yeah. Okay. So you weren't here for the podcast last week, but I know you
But
listened.
I did listen on the train. It was great.
Okay. So we found out that Ted's dad named him Theodore because he had wanted his son to go by Teddy. And that's why he originally named Edward after him. And they were going to call Edward Teddy, just like Dr. Whitney said, Edward
Why do
and
they have
Theodore
these
are the
same?
same
Yes.
name. Yes. And it's because the dad, when Eddie was born and he had Down syndrome, the dad was like, well, let's have another son and I'll name him Theodore.
Which is so bizarre.
So fucked up.
It's so fucked up. Except that George Foreman does have like 7 kids named George Foreman. But I think it wasn't because like he messed up with one of the kids or he didn't like the way the kid turned out. He's just like, I want them all named after me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a different messed up thing,
Yeah.
a different kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So then we see the dinner. Ted and his dad are having a great time. They're reminiscing about his high school football career. And it's
Hmm.
clear that his dad has really paid attention to him and they have this really nice conversation. But
Yes.
just then, phone rings.
Right. And Ted is thinking it might be Eddie because he realizes he hadn't called to check on Eddie. And it's
Mhm.
Kevin saying that Pellegrini has put a hit out on Ted and it's going to probably happen tonight. He's like, get out of your apartment. He's like, Eddie's in my apartment. He's like, he needs to get out of there, this is so frantic. So then Kevin is calling Eddie because he has his number. He's like, hey, you need to get out of there. Eddie's just standing there in one of Ted's suit jackets because he likes to put on his suit jacket and eating pizza and hanging out, having the best time by himself. And Kevin and Ted like come around the corner together. Like I guess Ted was eating so close that like he ran to the apartment
Mhm.
and Eddie and Kevin is driving. And then as they pull up, they see the apartment blow up. I can't imagine. I'm not even like, I can't wrap my head around seeing that.
No. So it's so horrifying. And just like they literally get there in not enough time, right?
I know.
But enough time to watch it happen. So it's just so
Well, what would have
sad.
been enough time though? Like if they got there earlier, they would have been up there, you know, like
Right, right, right. They were either going to go down with him or miss it, you know?
yeah.
So the next couple weeks pass. The next
Mhm.
flashback we see, Kevin has
Mhm.
missed Ted's funeral, and
Yeah.
Ted's calling him to be like, "What the hell, dude?" And he goes, "Well, I missed it because I got arrested because
Yeah.
I was beating up Santoro, who's the guy who actually blew up Eddie," which we have known this whole season who
Yes.
Santoro is.
Yes.
And Ted's like, "Okay, well, I got to hang up because I'm here to confront his dad who also missed Eddie's funeral," which is a little less forgivable. But then we realized that Ted's dad knew what was going to happen, and he knew Eddie was going to get blown up, and he basically sacrificed Eddie for Ted, and he's like, "I have no regrets about it." This is
This is the worst
so
thing.
beyond.
I had a pit in my stomach watching this, and I know it's just like fictional TV, but I'm like, this is the worst. This is the worst dad in the world. No
Like,
wonder.
truly,
No
like,
wonder. Ted completely disowned him and was like didn't even care when he died. I'm glad that they like were able to show that like all of those feelings were justified by now knowing like this is I can't this is next level.
yeah, because I mean, he's already a scumbag and horrible person, but then
Right.
when you see this conversation at the dinner, you're kind of like, okay, there's hope. Or like, is Ted just being too harsh? Could he just have a surface level relationship with his dad? And then you're like, no, your dad's a murderer. He killed his kid. That's so fucked.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's awful.
It was
It's
so
awful.
bad. So then Ted
Um
goes and sees Kevin, who's getting
mhm,
kicked off the bureau, and Kevin
mhm,
offers Ted a job with his dad, but Ted doesn't want the job, and he also like can't tell Kevin that it's not his fault that Eddie's dead, because if Kevin would have called him the first inkling that he thought there was a hit on him, then Ted never would have left Eddie alone in the apartment. And so he's
right.
like, "I'm not putting this on you. It is on you," is what
Yeah.
Ted says to Kevin.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have this bad guy Avery. I didn't see this very first part, I don't think.
Okay, I'll tell
I
you about
think
it.
'Kay. Tell me about this.
Ted goes to talk to Rosalind about
Mhm.
Avery because turns
Okay.
out Rosalind used to work for him for 5 years, but she's like, "I don't want to get involved in anything that man is a part of because
Mhm.
he is a monster." And Ted
Right.
says, "Listen, you trusted me then when he got her out of his workplace. Trust me now."
Okay. Ted tells Samantha that he got 6 more people to go on record. I guess this is about Avery, yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Saying that
yeah,
he's a bad guy.
yeah,
And then Samantha also has
all of
three
this
more
part
guys.
okay, I still don't have this part yet.
Okay,
This
okay, okay.
yeah,
The opening part of the storyline.
yeah,
So, yeah, so Samantha also got 3 more people. So that brings up their number to 10. 10
okay,
people who are willing to say, like, Avery's a bad guy.
okay,
But then in walks this mustached man who is Avery, and he is played by Mike O'Malley, who was the
okay,
host of Nickelodeon Guts.
okay, look at you.
Did you watch Nickelodeon Guts?
No, we watched on Nickelodeon Double Dare. That was the show that we watched.
Double Dare was good. Yeah.
And I think
Nickelodeon the
wasn't
Gut
You Can't
yeah.
Do That on Television, wasn't that also a show?
Ooh, I never saw that one,
I don't know, but
but that
Double Dare
sounds
was Kyle and I watched Double Dare, and then we actually got the game Double Dare once for Christmas, and it was the best day.
ooh, with all the slime.
Slime, yeah, it's great. Our Uncle Grady, who at that point was probably in his 80s, played all the games with us.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's really sweet.
I would be watching Nickelodeon and then I would go to the fridge and get a spoon and I'd put whipped cream on it and then I'd pie myself in the face
I love it.
with
Look
whipped
what
cream.
they taught us.
What
Look
a
what they taught us.
yeah,
So
they taught us well.
Guts was a show you were a fan of?
Yeah, Guts was like American Gladiator, but with
Oh,
kids and
I
like
loved American
American Ninja
Gladiator.
Warrior. Yeah, so they just like be doing like battles and have to climb the aggro crag and get to the top. And whoever got to the top got to like slam a button and they'd win
Diggity
the tournament.
dang. Diggity
Mhm,
dang.
mhm.
That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was great. and it was hosted by Mike O'Malley. So
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, it's Mike O'Malley, which he's
Who's
also been in a lot of other things.
but also playing not quite as wholesome of a character.
No, he's a monster. And
Yeah.
he's like in their office and he's like, I've already gotten all those people that all those 10 people that you think you have, they've already backed out because I've gotten to them and they're not going to testify. And then as he leaves, Samantha and Ted realize that this might not be a bad thing because clearly Avery got them to back out because he threatened them. So they just need to find more people that he's threatened and convince them to testify.
Yeah. I think I saw this part with Bill. He's the head of the studio, yes, who was humiliated on the stand during Lester's trial, yes. And he is not pleased to see Ted coming in there with Samantha. And they tell him that they're here for the HR files and the complaints against Avery, and he will not do that. And he will not do that as soon as Ted apologizes, or he will not give it to him
He won't
until
do it
Ted apologizes.
unless.
Yeah. And then Ted's like, I'm not apologizing. He's like, apologize. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's kind of dramatic and funny, I thought.
It was funny. There are a lot of moments in this show that have been like, oops, that was my chair. That was my chair for real.
Okay.
There have been a lot of moments on this show that have been really cute and funny, or the actors, like, I think play them really well.
You know, it's
But
funny
we'll
when they
never
cast
know.
Ted Black, Aaron Korsh said, like, when, you know, they were having a couple people read for it and had it narrowed down, he was like, huh, I didn't think Ted was funny, but you're funny. So I think Ted might actually be funny. Like, this might be a funnier character, you know, like he hadn't thought that he would be as funny as he ended up kind of like coming out. So
Yeah, I think he is funny. And I like that Ted was funny or is
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
What happens when a series dies? Do we talk about the characters in the past tense or do we talk about them in the present tense because they live on forever?
I think starting tomorrow it's the past tense, but tonight we can still live today
Present.
like it's today. It's present.
Mhm.
Because it's still
I like
a
that.
present. It's a present for us, you know?
A present, a gift.
Yeah. I'm already sad this is over. Okay, keep going.
I know. Okay, so all these years later, Ted and Samantha have never actually been in court together until today. So they're going up against Avery. And Avery wants this case dismissed immediately. And Ted and Samantha are like, actually, like you could be held liable. Look at all these HR files, so many complaints, so many complaints. And they're like, well, actually, Avery was a contractor, so he's not responsible for any of that. And the judge dismisses the case. And I was like, dang, that seems wild that if you're a contractor, you're not responsible for complaints that go to the company that you're contracting with HR.
It's interesting. I'm trying to think. So like we had contractors. I've had contractors at a couple of different businesses, and we handled them like they were full-time employees.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess the legal responsibility is not on you if you're contracting with someone. Or is it on you and not on the person who's contracting? That was what was confusing to me.
Well, somebody has to be held liable.
Anyways.
Just because you're a contractor not getting a W-2 doesn't mean you can act like an asshole and be, you
Yeah.
know?
But I guess the attorney for Avery was saying like those complaints need to come through him, like the contractor, not through the studio, because he's not actually an employee of the studio. He's a contractor for the studio. So because those complaints didn't go to Avery,
Okay.
they couldn't be used in court.
Interesting. Ooh. Okay.
But Ted knows one person. Ted knows one person who Avery has not gotten to. Someone who
Okay.
used to work for him. Guess who that person is? Amanda.
It's Rosalind.
That's right.
Rosalind, one of the brunettes we bring back, who just never really had as much airtime as I think we were hoping she would.
Yeah, I'm glad she got this history moment to tell her side of the story.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of been all over the place as far as a character. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's not interested in testifying against Avery. She tells Ted that Avery wasn't just verbally abusive, that one night he tried to assault her, and it took her a decade to feel strong again. And she doesn't want to see Avery weasel his way out, and Ted thinks he will be able to stop him. Ted's also like, why didn't you tell me this? Like, would have been nice to know. But it's also like, it's not the easiest thing to just offer up, you know?
Yeah. It's like Ted, first of all, every big man lawyer thinks that they can stop someone, but Rosalind's a realist and she goes, he's gotten out of everything. So
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to tell you something that's deeply personal and hurtful and awful.
Right.
So then Ted delivers his favorite Chinese food to Amanda, or
Mhm.
delivers Amanda's favorite Chinese food to her
Mhm.
because he
Mhm.
realizes what he's going to need to do. He's going to need to bring criminal charges against Avery, and he's
Mhm.
going to need help. That help is not going to come from Amanda. He's got to go to the
It's gonna be
prosecutor.
Elizabeth.
So he's going
Yeah,
to
it's
go to
gonna be
Elizabeth,
Elizabeth. Another
the other
brunette.
brunette. Brunette
Yeah.
number like 3, maybe let's
Yeah.
call her.
Yes.
Right. And Amanda's pissed because she knows she hates Elizabeth.
Mhm.
But
And
Ted
Ted
tells her, like,
yeah.
yeah, do the Ted line.
Ted tells her that he cares what she thinks about him, and Amanda says, "If that's true, then you won't go to Elizabeth." Ooh,
But
that's
will
tricky.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he will.
Mhm.
First, though, we see the guy from Mad Men,
Mhm.
and he's on the phone with when Rosalind comes in to talk to him. We find out that this guy from Mad Men is Marvin in
Yeah,
Suits
we've
LA.
already met Marvin once.
We haven't, like, met him. He's just been mentioned in the beginning as the HR guy. But
We saw him.
honestly,
We saw him once.
wait. Oh, in the episode with Whitney?
Yes. We saw Marvin.
Okay, that
Marvin
was it.
has yeah.
Yeah, I just listened to the recap, so I didn't know what Marvin looked like,
Oh, okay.
you know?
That's right. Yeah.
Mhm. So he's the only person who was there when she was attacked, because I guess he also used to work for Avery. And
Mhm.
he's hesitant because he's like, I lost 10 years of my career for trying to do the right thing going up
Mhm.
against Avery. But then
Mhm.
he says, she's like, well, we're going to do this. And he goes, then I have something I need to show you.
It's very Suits LA to be like, "Here's this thing," and then not actually deliver it right then. It's like, "Let's skip to another scene."
Oh, we're going to wait a little bit. What is it?
Ted knocks on Elizabeth's door. And he's there to ask for help with the Avery Jeffers, and he gives her a whole case file with all the things she needs to win, but she refuses. She said it's not enough. She also doesn't want to risk her career like Ted did when he took on Pellegrini. And Ted says he is not asking her to put him away, just asking her to hear him out, which I think is fair, you know.
That's
But
fair.
because he's I think he's convinced like if she hears me out, then she'll take the case.
Right. Yeah. Right. He knows. He
Yeah,
knows.
he
Because
knows.
they're pretty similar people.
Hmm.
So then Samantha tells Ted that watching him work has made her fall for him, like
Hmm.
watching him work. And I'm like, dang, girl. Okay, flirt lady. But they're prepping for their meeting with Avery, who then
Hmm.
waltzes in and he's like, I've got you. You're not going to get me. I was in the courtroom. I'm about
Yeah,
to win. But
yeah.
then in walks Rosalind.
Hmm.
And he's like, well, you signed an ironclad NDA. And it's like, well, good thing NDAs don't count in criminal charges.
Right.
And then Marvin, the former head of HR for Avery, has kept notes on every single complaint that Avery got at his place of business, not a studio, but
Hmm.
him. Like
Right.
his HR person knew about it. And so that's all stacked up real nicely. And then in the other door walks Elizabeth with
Hmm.
tomorrow's LA Times that talks about Avery being arrested. And he's like, well, like, he's trying to be like, that doesn't even make sense because the statute of limitation, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it doesn't really matter because the headline's going to read that you've been arrested. So it's done. Like you're cooked, basically.
Right.
So they give him a one-time offer if he resigns. And it's like, Elizabeth tells him, I might win or I might lose, but I never bluff. But I think she's kind of bluffing.
I don't know. I don't know if she's a bluffer because, like, Harvey was always known for being a bluffer. I don't know if she is or not. We also don't. I don't think
That's
we have
true.
enough context to know. Like, we don't have enough examples to see whether or not she's really a bluffer.
That's true. That's true. Well, she's holding the pen and Avery signs the agreement,
Hmm.
which also coincidentally makes him a sex offender, like registers him as a sex offender because he didn't read it. He just signed it. And he's like,
Yeah.
what the hell? I'm going to sue you. And she goes, great. I'm sure a jury will give you a handsome sum.
Yeah. They're really gonna levy up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to, before we do this last part of it, I'm glad that if we're gonna like have a case like this, I'm glad like some dirty bad guy goes down in it in this series at the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
kind of out of left field, but like because it's not like it's been a case that's been going on forever and ever. But I'm glad that they got a bad guy.
Yeah, because like Lester's kind of a bad guy
Yes.
and they let him go, right?
Hmm.
Which was the other like big case from the season because he
Yeah.
wasn't technically guilty.
Right.
You know, this was a good get. They got a good one.
Then Amanda comes to tell Ted that he made the right call going to Elizabeth. She says, for the record, she cares about what Ted thinks about her too. And she might have made a mistake saying that she can't be head of criminal and be in a relationship with him. And she asked him for a drink. He's like, I can't go tonight. I have to go see someone. And then he goes, how about tomorrow night? She goes, if you want it, then come find me or come hunt me down. Which is like, okay, well, he probably still wants it tomorrow. I mean, it's like one day later. But also like he could change his mind and that's fair. Like come and get me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought he was going to go see Samantha in this moment, which he ends up running into her, but he was actually going to go see Stuart, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. I was really excited at this idea of it just Ted and Amanda riding off into the sunset.
I know. It was one of your predictions.
It was. Well, I also had a prediction of a weird threesome.
And it's kind of how it ended.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, speaking of weird threesomes, Erica versus Rick or Erica and Rick, depending on if you're talking about the beginning or the end of the storyline.
That's fair.
So Leah's having a ribbon cutting ceremony for her new office, and Erica won't even play along. Like, she won't even take the scissors. She just walks right in, and she's like, this is so childish and foolish. I can't believe we gave you an office. But then Leah presents her with all of the work that Erica needs to go after Rick and to get this deal for Sean Baker. So Leah's like, I mean, Erica feels kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I doubted you. And Leah's like, oh, you got to learn that I'm a badass who knows what you need before you even know you need it. Very Donna.
Yeah, it is very Donna. And like earlier Donna before it was like very philosophical Donna in season 8.
Yes. Yes.
Just like you have to kind of differentiate your Donnas.
Yes.
Like a Donna differentiator. Dylan wants to sign with Erica now. She is not satisfied with her representation. And Erica says she is not a fan of being jerked around. And then Erica goes to talk to Rick. And Erica is surprised to see that Dylan is sitting in the conference room and thinks it's some kind of ploy.
Right.
Which
she doesn't want Dylan there.
Yeah. Well, Dylan wants half of the profits from the Sam Baker film, and Erica says that's never going to happen. And then Rick suggests that they take someone else's lunch money.
Which I was like, ooh, this feels messy and unfair. But the person that they're going to take the money from is that producer woman who didn't even want Dylan on the film to begin with. Yeah. She's like, I'm not giving up one nickel of my ownership. But Rick and Erica bluff. And they say, like, your contract's up in 6 months. The head of the studio really wants this project to go forward. And you're going to be out of money if you don't agree to, like, give up some pennies and if you lose Dylan off the film. So they think this is really going to work. And they also agree that during the negotiations, just moments before, they were both just doing their jobs, right? Rick just storms off. Like, he's like, yeah, we were just negotiations or work is work. And he just walks off. But Erica's kind of left looking like she wanted a longer conversation about that.
That's interesting reflection.
Is that what you thought? Or were you just like, was she looking at him like, you're a dick?
It's kind of hard to tell with her.
Yeah.
I feel like she's hard to read.
She's a little hard to read.
She's got a poker face, you know?
Yeah.
Dylan tells Rick that she is signing with Erica because she would rather see if there's something more between them. And Rick comes clean that he has feelings for someone else. And it's actually someone who doesn't even like him back. But he's like, I can't date somebody else until I get over this other person. So I do appreciate that he was honest with her. But she was like, dang, I am being like rejected for someone who doesn't even like it. Like, that sucks, which that's gotta suck.
That's gotta suck so bad. And also she's so pretty and so cute and they do have a good vibe. And I think she thought this was a slam dunk
movie story. Yeah. She's like, oh my God, I'm totally gonna, that's gotta be hard.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And she doesn't know that it's Erica. So then Erica stops. So Erica goes and she stomps into Rick's house and she's like, what the hell did you say about me? Know. Yeah, that other one's a part of a difference.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So Erica goes and she stomps into Rick's house. Like, what'd you say about me? Dylan dropped me. I need to know if you're bad mouthing me across the city. Like, that's messed up, dude. And Rick's like, get the hell out of my house. And then he goes, fine, I'll tell you. Dylan kissed me. And then I told her I can't be with her because I'm not over you, Erica. And then Erica stands there like, oh, you're not over me? What? Like, we haven't had an entire season of this flirting. And then she just goes in and smooches him. And then he picks her up and puts her on the kitchen counter, which I thought, this is kind of like they're making pho.
Yeah, they are kind of making pho, which is a
I would
production
count
that
this
we
as a
had.
win.
This was a
I
win
think
for
that we
sure.
really got that.
I think we did. I think what's also interesting here is even when he was like telling her, when he was like, get the hell out of my house, and then, okay, here's the deal, she was still looking at him pretty fucking deadpan. Like she didn't have any like I think we knew where she was going because we were really good at predicting. But like if you're
Yeah.
not as good at going to prediction town like we are, you might have thought, what is Erica thinking? Because her face sure isn't telling me. I need to hear
Which
her
is
words.
probably it's probably a good lawyer face,
Oh, for
you know?
sure. For sure.
Like,
Here's a quick depo for you. Of all the
mhm.
skill sets that you think a lawyer needs to have, right? What is the one where you feel like you'd kind of need to close the gap and you'd need some additional training?
On what? On what?
Like,
Wait,
okay,
what skill sets?
all of them. Think about all the skill sets, right? So, because you said it would be a good skill set for Erica to have like a poker face, right? So,
Oh,
think
yeah,
about
yeah,
all the skill sets.
yeah.
Just think about all of them. You know the whole list.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
You're gonna close the gap on one of them. I'm
Mhm,
gonna get my popcorn
mhm.
here and eat this popcorn while you talk about any of the gaps that you would need to close to be a lawyer.
Yeah, yeah. Mine, I think I definitely just when you're saying this about the poker face, that's something that I do not have the skill. I mean, you've worked with me, you see that even when I'm just typing to myself on a computer, I make all kinds of faces. So, I can't be in a room and be hearing something and not immediately show how I feel about that on my face. And I wish I couldn't. I wish that I didn't do that.
Okay.
But it's something that I don't even know if I can get that skill. I don't think I could ever get it to the next line. I'd have to be like an attorney that's only on the phone,
Mm. That's actually
you
what a
know?
lot of attorneys do, though. They're just on the phone.
Yeah, just on the phone making calls, which I hate, honestly, so I'd probably just be like a
Okay.
clerk.
Being in it, yeah. You're like, this is for the birds.
Yeah, I don't think yeah, my face is too much. Even when we were going to see our new house, Kyle was like, "I think, can you just, like, watch your face when we go through it and just be thinking about that? Because I don't want the kids to, like, think that anything." And I was like, "No, what do you of course not." But then I really loved the house, so I didn't even make any bad faces.
Yeah, but you just sent the
But he
kids to go hang out with your aunt and uncle, right?
but I sent the kids with my aunt and uncle because I was worried that I would make faces.
Mhm.
'Cause I was like, "What if I do? I don't know. I can't predict it," you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm. Mhm.
What's your skill on the list of skill sets that you would need to or want to close the gap?
I think I probably just need to learn a little bit more about the law.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be like one small thing.
Here's what it would be. Um, because I do actually show on my face a lot what I'm thinking, but I have had to learn to be so fucking straight-faced in, investigations at work
Mhm.
and in kind of like mediating things where people are like, "I don't know how you didn't like, you never cracked." And I was like, "Well, you just do it, right?" But
Yeah.
normally I would love to show you how I'm feeling, right, on my face.
Right. Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Sometimes I think it would be hard to not be I think it would depend if I was like a prosecutor or a defender, right? Like if I was gonna actually be like not just pushing paper on a phone call kind of attorney, getting more invested in the clients. I
Mhm.
think that that could be hard, because you have to remember like this is what it is, and you have to be able to draw the
Right.
line rather than being like, but what happens like so for example, there was one of the episodes in OG Suits where somebody's going to get evicted and they're like, well, if they get evicted, they get evicted, like we didn't win the case, and that's how it goes. And it's like I would then want to go and help figure out how to get them into a new home and do like that rather
Right.
than just like cutting it off and move on to the next case. That would be the hard thing for me.
Yes.
It's like the
Like
human
I did
element
my
of it.
job. Yeah.
Right. I couldn't I'd be like, I did my job, but I didn't do it the way I wanted it to turn out. So now I need to go do more. Right. Like that would be the hard
Right.
thing. It's just cutting it
Mhm.
off. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So I guess we'd have to be phone and paper pushers, really, is what
I
we're,
guess we
you
would.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what's better, I think, for us is just doing an entertainment podcast about a law
I
procedural
think so.
drama.
I think so too. It
Yeah.
seems to be going really well for us. So
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, you know what else is
Okay, the
going well?
next storyline,
Yeah,
Stuart.
is Stewart. Yeah.
Kick it off.
Kevin picks the book. No, I'm not gonna kick it off because I don't know if I saw this part.
Oh,
Remember,
you
I
didn't
missed
see
like
this part?
I missed like
Yeah.
the intro of each storyline. So I'm gonna let you kick it
Okay,
off.
okay, okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So Kevin picks up a call from Stuart and he assumes Stuart's calling because he found the bug in his car. And Stuart's like, "What bug?" And Kevin's like, "Nothing. Never mind. Just kidding. LOL. Ha ha ha." So I guess Kevin has bugged Stuart's car. They move on quickly. Stuart is calling because he needs to hire Kevin to do something. And it's
Right.
about Ted's father.
Mm-hmm. So Stuart picks up. So yeah. So he's got all, because Stuart had to do the estate, right? Like he was the executor
Right.
of the estate, right? It's how his dad kind of like
Yes.
handed it to him, like just to piss Ted off. So he had to figure out what to do with this money from the estate, right? That was going to actually make
Yes.
sense. So Kevin is at his desk when he gets a call from Ted, who thanks him for the gift. And it's a frame of the Eddie Black Memorial Park. And I guess it's a baseball park, right?
It's a park that they used to play in as kids,
okay.
I guess. And then there's been an expansion.
Yeah.
So Stuart like paid to expand it and name it after Eddie.
And Kevin asks if he can have the job that Ted offered. But first, Ted tells Kevin he is sorry he took out Eddie's death on Kevin. He's like, that's a good reflection. You know, they have this little moment back and forth. Thrilled that this prediction came true because really wanted Kevin to move to LA. They need to be
I
together.
know.
They're
do.
fun together. And Kevin is Dr. Witt's favorite character.
Yeah, he's a great character. I think Kevin, Amanda, Leah are honestly my favorites, and they're all these sub characters.
Yeah, I know.
I also love Erica.
Yeah, I grew to really like Ted too, and Rick.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, I really like the cast.
I know, I do
That
too.
was my cheer. That was my cheer, everybody. That was my cheer.
Do it again to prove it.
Hear that? It's a cheer. I'm in a freaking double tree. It's a double toot. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so then Ted goes to thank Stuart, and Stuart reminds him, like, "Oh, like it's good, we're buddies." And then Stuart drops this bombshell. He's like, "I just can't remember if my name went first or your name went first." And he's basically proposing and does outright propose that they go ahead with the merger after all. So after all of this, 13 episodes of them, we've gone on this journey, and now they are going to merge together.
Right. They brought it back up full circle. They closed a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You know, we circled back, as they would
back
say.
in the beginning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Samantha sees Ted as he's leaving Stuart's office, and she wants to know what Ted said to Stuart's offer. And he said he has to think about it. And he said, did you really mean what you said by, you're hot for me, watching me work? And what if he's not ready? And she's like, yeah. He's like, well, what if I'm not ready to mix business and pleasure? And she's like, what if you have a crush on Amanda? And Samantha says, I'm actually not afraid of either of these things. And she's not afraid of messy Ted. So Ted says he's in and it'll be a hell of a ride. And then he walks off with the biggest fucking smile because it's like, oh, well, that threesome he dreamed about is coming to life. It's like literally probably that's what he's thinking. He's thinking best case scenario that messy Ted is messy with all three of them. We know that messy Ted is a love triangle, and it's not a triangle where they're all, and what's the isosceles where they're equal, right? I don't know. It is not. This is not going to be a good situation. But Ted is thinking threesome, and Samantha's thinking it's going to be them fighting over him, which is what it's going to be.
Yeah. And Amanda isn't thinking anything at all about it because she's out of the loop.
She doesn't know because she thinks
but she will be pissed when she finds out. These are all predictions of what's happening
in the future
in the future world. Yeah. Amanda goes along. They have a great date. Ted says nothing about Samantha. She finds out about Samantha also possibly dating Ted when she runs into Samantha in the office because they're merging offices, right? Yeah. And then she's like, wait, what? And then they have a big falling out, and then they compete for each other like professionally.
I actually don't think they do in this world. I
No,
would say my prediction is in this future world, Amanda doesn't put up with that shit.
she just walks away.
Mhm.
That's true
Because
too. That's a better.
Samantha's into it. She's like, I'm fine with the fight. And then Amanda walks away. And then I think, so Samantha thinks she's got Ted. And then I think Ted actually ends up going for Amanda because she walked away and was like, I'm too good for this. I'm
You
not
don't think
doing it.
Amanda? You don't think Amanda would be into it too, like the
Mm-mm.
competition piece? No,
Nope.
she's
Uh-uh.
over it. She's
Uh-uh.
and also she's a catch. Know thy worth, Amanda, from
Yeah.
the show, and
Yeah.
also Amanda from the DoubleTree Hotel.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't think that's if we're gonna write fan fiction for season 2. Should we write the season premiere of season 2 for this show?
Yes, yeah, we
Should we do
should.
that? And should we
Uh-huh.
and should we do a podcast
Act it out. Mhm.
and just read this? We should do a table read.
We should do a table read.
Should we do a table read?
At least the outline, but probably a table read.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll drop a bonus episode.
Yeah, a bonus episode. Instead of bloopers of Suits LA, we'll just do a table read. So we
Okay,
have 1 week.
to do that.
Done. Excellent.
Okay. I think you and I both made some eye contact knowing what's on our plate for the next week. So we also have to record a couple of episodes of Suits OG.
Yeah.
We'll be
Well,
good.
you know,
We'll be good.
yeah, we good. We're
You know,
good. We're
actually,
fine. We
I've
got it.
we've written stuff in a record amount of time. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Just open a writer duet and we're just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of sad.
Kind of sad. Kind of sad because it's nice to have a show that we immediately recap, but also kind of glad that we get to just focus. I get to focus my last season of Suits. Like we're on season 8, so I have a season and a half left, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I get to focus on my original characters.
Yeah. Yeah. But we want to thank the creators and Aaron Korsh and everybody else. We were really rooting for this. We weren't sure how we felt. I mean, we liked it at the beginning and we were like, okay, it's, it takes a couple episodes. But like talking through this and like watching it tonight and as it was ending, I was like, oh, they did a good job of tying up a lot of things and not knowing if they were going to get picked up. Right. So I think they did a nice job, but I was like genuinely like, oh, dang, I'm actually going to miss this.
I think like I finally am in sync with the characters and I understand them. So I'm disappointed that I don't get to see those characters really blossom in the next season because I feel like season 1 is so much exposition and like
There was
background
almost
and literal background.
Maybe too many flashbacks, maybe.
I think so. But I mean, it was a great story. Like that flashback story was a great story.
Yeah.
But it was a lot mixed in with the present.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my thought.
Well, you want me to sign us off?
Sign us off for the final time on Suits LA.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
And if you don't know how to start that review, you could say, DoubleTree, I wish I could give them double 5 stars.
Oh, that would be good. It's so cute. And then we ended it with a little chair movement. You know what I'm saying? Little chair movement.
We're just moving chairs up here. Oh, it won't do it again.
Yeah, well.
It's not making it up. There it is. There she goes.
Yeah. There she goes. Rocking it out. Good. Glad I get to edit this unless you're going to post it.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.